What is up, everybody? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very excited. Let me get a beer. Woo! Oh, I'm on cloud nine. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the after chat for the AM Radio Crash Course. Let's get my... There we go. A little jobbered in there. Very much appreciate you watching. Hamtactical.com if you like my FT8 sweater to really drive home the message on your feelings in FT8 when you go to the next Ham Club meeting. All right, so the big draw of this show that we do is to hit up the Discord and talk to our friends over there, catch up with what they're doing in ham radio, and answer lots of questions. That's our goal. Unfortunately, normally these can go pretty long, in many hours, 3+ hours generally, but not going to be doing that today. We're going to be keeping it a little light because I just saw the picture. Thanks, Jason, Mike, and Frank for that. Appreciate you. We are going to hop in there now, but we're not going to be long today because I actually do have a party going on at my house for a dear friend that we're going to be hanging out with, so I don't want to belabor that while they're all having fun and I'm not with them. So let's hop into the Discord. Slide on down here. All right, here we go.
She seriously needs to drop her monthly money, and so going through and replacing a bunch of her equipment. Oh, Josh is on. Sorry.
Hey, no problem. How's it going, everybody? All right. So Jason, Jason, are you there? Oh, he's deafened and muted. There you go. Jason, mention really quick when you go live, just so everybody can make sure they're ready to go.
Let's see. About just under 2 hours from now. So 10:30 p.m. Central Time. That'd be 8:30 p.m. on the West Coast.
Copy that. And I linked it in the last stream, the shortcut for the playlist, but I'll link to your live stream right now so that people can find it on the chat.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Right on. All right. And yeah, thank you for that picture too. You guys look like you're having fun there. That's awesome.
Yeah. We hooked Frank's laptop up to the TV. That's a dumb TV back there, not a smart one, so we had to improvise.
Understood. All right, let me catch this. Yeah. All right. I will drop this in the chat for everybody. So welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course After Chat. So our goal is always to answer questions for all the newcomers starting out in ham radio, but just pretty much any ham radio questions. And it could be questions on tonight's live stream, which, is my building the Christmas light antenna. So let's start things off by welcoming anybody who's here for the first time. So if anybody's here new for the first time and like to say hi or ask a question, come now.
Hey, I'm new here for the first time.
Hey. How's it going?
Pretty good. I got my technicians about a month ago and stuff with it.
Excellent. So, how are things going so far you on the air there?
Pretty good. I've gotten a few contacts I actually got a Simplex contact yesterday, and I've been doing some stuff in the repeaters, local nets, stuff like that, and studying for my general now as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, do you have a question for us or anything?
No, just wanted to come on here and say hello.
Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. All right, very good. Anybody else in there would like to say hi or ask a question? Come now.
Hello,
Hey.
Daniel, SA6AUN from Sweden, here for the first time.
Hey, right on, a Sweden listener. Thank you for watching and listening. How's it going? You have any questions for us?
No, not any questions. I just here to hear the chat. It's fun to catch up a bit. I'm not normally awake this time, so you have to use the time well.
Indeed. Well, thanks for listening and watching, and hang on in there. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to jump in. There was somebody else too. Go ahead, first timer, say hi or ask a question.
Hey, been watching your channel for a while. It's been pretty awesome. You do some amazing stuff. Anyways, I've had my technician for a little while, started studying for my general, just got a G90.
Oh, right on.
And yeah, just kind of getting started in the HT with what little privilege I have.
Cool. Right on. Good for you. So G90, how's have you really tapped into that at all yet?
I was playing around with. I got myself set up on FT8. I made like a little custom cable to go between the what is that thing? The CE19 or whatever to my PC. So, but yeah, I got that working. I haven't transmitted. It's just all been into a dummy load at this point. But
Right on.
I was going to try tomorrow.
Good for you. Yeah. Honestly, digital modes are not a bad place to start. As the solar cycle starts to increase, I think single sideband contacts are going to start going up like a lot. So just keep an eye out for that. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us. All right. Anybody else in there with just like to say hi or ask a question? Come now. All right. I am slowly getting my stuff all back together here. Very good. All right. Let's go down the list here and say hi to our YouTube folks we have in the room, because I think this is going to be a short one, so I want to make sure we get through everybody while they're still on the air with us. Frank is the first. Frank, Tank Radio, how you doing?
Hey, man. Long time listener, first time caller.
Right, yeah, exactly. How's it going, Frank?
Doing all right. Just hanging out. I dropped you a picture over there in the AFTERCHAT memes of us watching you on the live stream.
I saw that. That was wonderful. Thank you for taking that picture and sharing it with everybody. Thank you for that. That's super cool. What are you guys up to? Are you at Jason's place, or where are you at?
Yes, we're at the second undisclosed location of the beach house.
Got it.
And Mike is over here playing FT8, and we have lights flickering. I think 2 FT8. I don't know.
I'm not transmitting.
Mike is like, I'm not transmitting. And we're hanging out, and we're getting ready to do the meetup on Galveston Island State Park New Year's Day. We're going to have some radios out there and just do a meetup.
Nice.
So other than that, I got a new radio.
What'd you get?
I got a Yaesu DX10, FTDX10.
Oh, good. Wow. So you went from a G90 to an FTDX10. So that's a big jump. How you liking it so far?
Oh man, I turned it on and I did 2 park activations and it was almost instant pileup. I don't know if it's the time of year or the 100 watts increase, but it's just everyone jumps on me. I did a quick sort of the pileups and you can't make out 2 letters consecutively to pull a contact. It was amazing.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the time is right, that's for sure. But I think stepping up to 100 watts will probably do pretty good for you as well. What antenna were you running?
I was running one of Adam's antennas he made for me. It's a 9-to-1 Balun up to 40 meters, I think it is. It's a long antenna with a counterforce, and it's amazing.
Very good. Well, right on. Thanks for joining us out here. I appreciate you. Hang on the line in case anybody has any questions or whatever, and feel free to jump in. Next is Scott, Ham Radio for Non-Techies. Winner of, what was Scott the winner of on Kyle's trivia?
I won something?
Yeah, we voted you as most likely. Do you remember what it was, Frank or Jason or anybody else in here?
Yeah, I didn't think we did.
Yeah, Scott won one of them.
Was it the most likely to kill someone with a Baofeng?
That was Tech Prepper.
That was Tech Prepper.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But
Sounds like me, though.
Scott did win something, though.
Wasn't it a barbecue one?
No.
No.
I thought it was a cooking one he won.
Oh, there it is. Jody's saying most likely to make a tasty meal out of his fellow stranded ham.
That was Tech Prepper. What it was who's going to post the most videos from the ham radio clubhouse in 2023. Most likely to post the most videos in 2023.
No,
that was Shane.
No,
that was Shane.
That was Shane. Because
oh, it was Shane? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was only the 4 guys that are in.
Oh, right.
HR.
Right. So what did you win one?
I think it was the one Mike said about eating your fellow ham, because the kill of squirrel with a Baofeng was a different one that Tech Prepper won.
That was Tech Prepper. That was with the Baofeng. Okay, well, you'll have to go back and watch Kyle's live stream.
It was something funny, whatever it was.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, cool. Well, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, not much. Happy New Year to you, Josh. No, it's a little early, but Happy New Year anyway. I'm looking forward to get rid of 2022 and making 2023 make it awesome this year.
Yes, indeed. I am back on the Step IR, by the way, anybody on FT8. But yeah, continue. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, no problem. I'm also planning on attending tomorrow at the POTA meetup down in Galveston Island. Should be a lot of fun. Kind of weird that in January it's going to be 76 degrees. I'll be in shorts.
Amazing.
But, it beats the heck out of what we had for Christmas when it was like 19 or 16 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, looking forward to it. It's always good to meet up with other fellow hams since these guys live so far away from me, and I don't get up to Dallas that often. It's kind of nice when they're down this neck of the woods, and it's only about a 45-minute hour drive for me. So,
right on.
Should be fun.
Very cool. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us out here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So next is Jason. We kind of hit up with Jason, but if you want to mention anything else, Jason, go for it.
No, that's probably about it. Yeah, we're gonna have a happy hour live stream to bring in the new year, starting in about an hour and 45 minutes, and then we're gonna meet up here in Galveston tomorrow for Parks on the Air activation. So if you're in the area, you are welcome to come out. So obviously we allow pretty much everyone since Frank's here. So hope everybody can come and make it who's in the area.
I'm not the yardstick, but I am a measurement to beat.
That's a good way to put it. By the way, this location where we're at right now is not necessarily undisclosed. I'll be happy to share this location with anybody.
No, where we're going, but tonight it's undisclosed.
No, what I'm tonight, like I can share the listing to the rental house because it's a vacation rental that we own. Anyway, yeah,
cool.
I like seeing the lights start to burn out one by one.
Yep.
On the the Christmas string, and I was like, if those are wired in series, when one goes out, they should all go out. So I wasn't sure how that was happening, but it was fun to watch either way.
They were all wired in series. I think it's just the proximity of the wires together. At some point, they come together, and in those little bulbs, even though that the filament is technically gone, I think the fact that they're so close in that little vacuum airspace, I think something's going on there.
Isn't it supposed to be like if one burns out, the rest of the light or strand is supposed to stay lit or something?
That's if you're using them in the traditional light where it's plugged into AC power or whatever. But I have them in series. It's just one long continuous run in series. There's no multiple wires.
Could you try again? Well, it worked well, whatever it did. So
yeah,
I liked seeing them on your outside cam. So I thought that worked well.
Yeah, we just got Mike there too on FT8. So here's the difference between a good antenna. Here's my Step IR on 40 meters. If you're wondering what a proper antenna looks like, get a lot further out on this thing. Speaking of Mike, how's it going, man? What have you been up to?
I'm just trying to work this YouTuber on FT8. His name's Josh.
We did it.
I don't have your 73.
Oh.
I didn't get it from you. I'm still giving you your signal report.
Okay. I'm replying.
Because I don't have you in the log from I don't have you in the log from Galveston. I've got you in Michigan and Houston, but not in Galveston.
You're picking up RF on your mic.
Oh, I know, it's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, at least you know. At least you know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So for everybody asking, so did you make the entire string of lights? Yeah, it was literally so I held these up, and it's literally twinkle lights. But when you I'll make a video in more detail. I've already cut it all together and just need to finish it up. But you need to snip all the wires off and just keep the line with the lights on it. And then you splice them all together, and that's literally just a wire. And then you get to work on that. That's how that works. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, I gave up on you, so don't worry. You can go ahead and make more contacts. I'm only running about 30 watts into the pack 10.
Oh, okay.
So, but I forgot my AirPods at home, so I had to go to Walmart and buy a little cheap $5 pair of headphones so we can do all the live streams tonight. So.
Oh, good Lord.
Hence the RFI. There's actually a choke on the radio, but whatever, no big deal. I'm all set up to have FT8 in the background for the happy hour, but if I'm getting RFI in here, that's not going to happen. I don't think I brought any ferrite chokes. Oh, no, I do have one. I'll find one, see if that will help. But I bought an 818.
Oh, you did.
I did.
You've joined the Miata Racers Club of America of QRP Ham Radio.
Yeah. So the day it was announced, I'm actually going to blame Chuck KK6USY because I was watching them on their celebration of life ceremony that they had with John Crook.
Yeah.
And Chuck was like, I might just buy one. I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea. Because I'm thinking, one, so like, you remember Tony, K9 ARV, right?
Yep, I do.
So I won't say single-handedly, but he was the biggest influence on me to do portable. And he had his 817, and he was just so happy to make a contact with 5 watts.
Yep.
And I've never had an 817, 818. I've never used one. I've held them. I've like been with a guy that was using one.
You've pondered on whether you should buy one or not. Yeah. I've
so
definitely
now,
been that guy.
That radio has been around for what, 21 years or something like that.
Yeah, it can drive. Yeah.
And my rationale is like, this thing is so freaking popular, not just with the QRP crowd, but with the satellite guys and everything. So I'm like, I should just buy one of these, play with it, review it, and then just put it back in the box and, more of like an investment. Because if you think like the 857, that's a ridiculously popular radio that people can't get anymore.
Right.
And they still sell for a pretty penny.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Why not?
And the 818 works with the ATOS, right?
I have no idea.
I think it does.
I don't think I'd be hooking that up to the ATOS.
Oh, really?
No, God, no.
I don't know that it does, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I don't know.
I thought John said that it did, but I may be wrong.
Okay.
I don't see myself doing that, but it'd be cool to, just to, it doesn't have any noise reduction or anything, so it's definitely, I would put it along the lines of and I'm saying this without ever using one, but kind of like the G90, how it's just lack of all kinds of features.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hopefully a little bit better receiver, although I read Julian's blog post just dogging the receiver on it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I love it, maybe I hate it, but I'm just excited I get it on Tuesday, and I'm just excited to be able to play with it. So, but not excited about the battery life. I'm already like, should I get the WinCamp lithium battery for it, or I've got so many batteries it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll mention something on that really quick. My battery actually bulged my WinCamp, and I was lightly using that thing, if at all. So I don't know if I would go back and recommend.
So you shouldn't. You're saying maybe we don't trust Chinese lithium polymer batteries?
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the chemistry that likes to puff up and catch on fire.
Right. So that's something to think about, because I was a little nonplussed when I pulled it out of the thing, and I'm like, why is it so hard to open the back of this radio? And I opened it up, and it was like, it was all puffed up, and I'm like, I didn't overcharge this. I barely charged it.
And you've only had that for what, maybe 6 months?
Back in earlier part of this year, I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my my falling into the 818 was actually because I had that Shegu radio take a dump on me when I went to Las Vegas. So I ended up just buying an 818 at Gigaparts in Las Vegas. And I had no plans on buying an 818. I did not desire the radio. I respected it. I respected it for what it is. It deserves, I mean, it can't, no radio can exist that long and be so well loved if it doesn't have something of value. It's literally kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It does so many things, and I actually really like it. It's very simple, though. That's true. Everything Julian said is right. It's got zero filtering. There's no tuner, but the things I like about it are you never need to worry about your coax connection because it'll work BNC or SO239. It doesn't care. You just flip the connection, and it does 2 meter VHF, 2 meter UHF, and HF, and it's
it
dead
does 70
simple
too, right?
What's that?
It does 70 centimeters too, right?
Yeah, VHF, UHF, and HF, and it's dead simple. So I know there's people who have like started and ended their career, if you will. They're just like, that's my radio, and I don't need anything more than that. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I totally understand why it's as popular. I'm not surprised that it has to be put out at pasture at this point because of how old it is. regardless of the part shortages.
Now, let me ask you something, because in your stream, you mentioned that it's not discontinued. You said another word.
Yeah. So it's out of production. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't watch the live stream with John Crook, but Yaesu has always been very particular in not using the word discontinued, and I think that's because they don't want anybody to get the belief that they're no longer supporting their radios. Yaesu is very outspoken that they'll support their radios for the long haul. And
well, yeah, they've got all the parts for the long haul. Even if they do discontinue a product they have things for 10 years down the line. If something breaks, they still have parts so people can send them in, and that's a really cool thing.
Yeah,
other companies would just be like, screw you.
And I think that's kind of their message, is that they I think discontinued is a hard word from their viewpoint. And again, this is my assumption of what they're thinking, and so take this with a grain of salt. I think that it's like they continue to support the users. It's not discontinued in that they won't support it. They're just not making it anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. John said that they have, when the radio's bought new, it has a 3-year warranty, and so they don't say, like, if somebody bought it the day before the announcement or even after, that it's still on the shelf, those still have a full 3-year warranty, and Yaesu will continue to support them through the whole 3 years.
I bought mine. Mine was refurbished, so I don't know what the warranty is.
Oh, good point on that. I'll come back to it in a second. You can still send an 857 back to Yaesu, and they'll fix it. They're gonna charge you for it, right? They're gonna charge you for the pleasure, but they'll still work on it, that's good. You want a company like that, right? Now, Mike, great point that you bring up about buying one of these. We talked about this on the podcast that dropped this morning. My viewpoint is, you shouldn't go panic buy an 818. Nobody should be marking up an 818. Nobody should be like trying to make money on some kind of fake supply issue, because this radio is everywhere. Like,
it's
there
already more expensive on Ham Radio Outlet.
Okay, that's insane.
It's $700 now.
These radios are prolific. They are like they're like a Baofeng for HF. They are everywhere. If you can't find an 818, go find a used 817 ND. It's almost the same radio. You are going to get an almost identical experience out of it, and you can still find those cheap. You might have to go to a ham club or go to a local ham fest and get one. I don't think that it needs to go up in price, but even HRO going up $60, it's not like with the Kenwood D74s that shot up like $300 just right? Because they're uber rare, because nobody bought them when they were brand new.
It's pretty messed up that the vendors are already raising the prices. What, 2-3 days later?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They got to do what they got to do. If there's a demand, they're gonna charge for it. But from all of us hams talking, I think that you should be able to find one without a markup that's used, and don't buy into a panic buy. Don't get yourself in a panic buy situation. Is all I would advise. You'll be able to find them when the panic dies down.
Oh,
Believe me.
There's 20 years of sales of those things out there.
Right.
So.
Exactly. You nailed it. Yeah.
Does that apply to the FTM 400s as well, you think?
No.
They still have them. I just saw DX Engineering has more than 10 in stock.
So
I doubt there'll be the demand for that.
Well, that radio also is younger. That radio was introduced in 2012 or 13, I think. Now that I could see a markup in that one because there's just not as many people that bought them, so they're going to be a little bit more of an oddity. But they're also pretty prolific too. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not in the panic buy state on any of this stuff. So just keep that in mind.
No, they're already like $100 more than I paid for mine, I think, when I bought mine. Now I got the XDR, which came out in 2018, I think. It replaced the original TM400.
I love my FTM 400.
I do too.
I'm gonna continue using it.
DX Engineering has them for $500,
$499.95 or something like that. Yeah, but they do have them in stock. So I don't know if the news has just not hit them yet. If you want one, you may want to order one, but we'll see what they do on the price. It's a good radio. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. Big fan.
I don't know what they're going to do to replace it. because the 300 is definitely not a replacement for it.
Well,
no.
They would argue it's almost the same radio, but with a different screen.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
got
problem.
A tiny
though.
non-touch screen.
I agree. Let's see. I think, did we get through all the YouTubers? Who else did we have in here? Anybody else? Did I miss? I think we got through all the YouTubers. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us on the After Chat. A little smaller group than usual, but I think that's obviously, there's a lot going on, so appreciate everybody watching and hanging out. Open the floodgates. Anybody have any ham radio questions on anything? It could be the show topic or just any talking point on ham radio. We'd love to hear from you, so come now. It could be in text or voice. Go ahead.
What's a good... Sorry, go ahead.
I think it was Douglas. Go ahead, Douglas.
I'm just hoping they'll replace the 818 with something like the 705. Maybe something to compete with the 705.
That's the rumor mill. We've been hearing, so before anybody heard about the 818 being put to pasture, as I'll call it, no longer in production, there have been many people talking about a potential 818 radio or replacement that would be a competitor to the 705. Now, I don't know what that would look like from Yaesu, because Yaesu is such an interesting brand. If you compare their handhelds and their mobiles to their HF radios, they could almost be a separate company. Their handhelds and mobiles give you a very like robust, outdoorsy type feel, and their shack radios, what I would call their base station HF radios, are what I would think or feel, my aesthetics makes me think that it's like a shack radio, something you put in a building and use it, right? They've gone away from the 857, which was their portable. Although 891 definitely gives those vibes as well. I expect that it's going to be like a 705 in that it is an SDR with a waterfall, but what little detours they take along the way with the feature set is what's going to be the interesting point for me. So yeah. Now, speculations abound, but obviously we have no more information than speculation and rumor, and there is no other rumor that I've heard other than they're working on something. That's all I've ever heard. And that's not from Yaesu, so John, nobody told me on Yaesu, so nobody come at me. Just gossip talk.
Yeah, I don't know why they came out with the 710. They should have really come out with a follow-up to the 991A first.
Well,
I think that would have been a better option, but
well, we can go down the rabbit hole on that, although I want to make sure we answer people's questions. The 710, and this is also me departing completely from what I've heard from Yaesu. I think the 710 is just a direct competitor to the 7300. It is the first SDR, pure only SDR that Yaesu's made. And if you follow Yaesu for the last 5 or 6 years, they've been all about that hybrid SDR life, right? They've always been saying, oh no, hybrid is the way to go. And for the 710, they're like, hey, guess what? We're not going hybrid on this one. So they don't have discrete RF front end components. It is purely SDR. It is purely a go at the 7300, which they struck at the right time because 7300s are kind of hard to get your hands on right now. So they're probably going to sell a boatload of them. I still stand firmly in the camp that if you got the money, you should get the DX10. If you're shopping for a radio, that is a lot of radio for the price that you put down for an FTDX10. It's a good one. I still love the 7300. I'm not taking anything away from it, but if you're looking at the Yaesu camp, that is the radio I would look at.
Yeah, basically there's a reason why the 710 does not have FTDX in front of it.
It's got the FT, but
well, every
Yaesu has an FT in front of it.
That was FT818. So.
Yep. Okay. Anybody with a ham radio question or discussion on today's show topic on the live stream? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
This is my 2023 thing. So I'm looking for a high-powered tuner for like an amplifier tuner, automatic amplifier tuner. And right now, the only three that I can think of would be the Flex, the Mercury, and then the HF Auto from Palstar, because I will not own an AT1000 Pro. I had the same problem you saw tonight, but I had it continually.
So do you want legal limit, or you just need something that can
yeah,
get in front
legal
of
limit for behind the Mercury?
I think you got to drop the big money.
Well, I don't mind dropping the big money, but I just don't know which between those three, and am I missing something?
Good question. I'm so far from removed from that world right now. I haven't really looked down that path.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was watching the ham radio or the coffee and ham radio guys today, and it's like I'm firing all this stuff into chat about the high end radios that it's like, guys, have you not? Well, I guess maybe I am uniquely suited to really talk about those radios, because I literally own all four of them, other than the 7610, which I won't own. But I'm not
push off.
Josh. I've had so many problems with ICOM. My 705 is busted now. I'm just through with them.
So here's what I would say on that. Not to I'll let you keep going on your what you're saying there, but I feel, and so this was kind of a decision thing that clicked in my head when I got onto the amp. I told myself, running an amp with a tuner ain't it. Like, I don't want to. I've already got to balance the plate and the grid because I'm still on a tube amp, and I got all this crap going on. I then don't also want to worry about a tuner that's down the pipe of the amp. I would much prefer having a resonant antenna, or at least staying within the frequency spaces that my antenna is most resonant, that will make my amplifier happy, and avoid all of that tuner nonsense. To be honest, the only time I break out that this LDG, and I have the same struggles you've dealt with, and I agree with you, is when I'm doing these Christmas light antennas, because I don't mind if I blow this up. I bought this used. I got real lucky at an HRO in Anaheim. They had one, and I was like, oh snap, that's used, it's really cheap, I'm gonna buy it. I think resonance the way to go when you start going down the road of amplifiers. You got to got to.
And most of my antennas are resonant, so that's not the issue. The issue is that, like, okay, I come in tomorrow, and for whatever reason that DX commander's leaning one way, the other, whatever it is, and all of a sudden 40 is like way the frick out. And I've had that happen. And of course the Mercury will just go, and you get this big alarm.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. But then I've got to like debug the antenna, whatever it is. And, sometimes I go out there and the bottom is pulled out of it, and the radials have popped off, or, just various things, because, it's sitting outside. I've had the same thing on the Moxons, where, they go out of tune, or there's a cable that's, gone bad, or whatever it is. I mean, I've had various issues over the last couple of years, and the only reason I want the tuner is to protect the amplifier, because the more I use this amplifier, the more I like it, and I just really don't want to lose it, because they are so hard. Well, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have ordered them, but like they're 6 to 8 months now to get one.
Yeah, which one is it? Which
the Mercury 3?
The Mercury 3. Yeah, I was looking at those recently for a potential Ford Lightning amplifier, but I haven't put down the deposit yet.
Yeah, Matt's kind of right. If the experts are available, those are not bad amplifiers either. Okay. But I've heard things about the guy that builds the expert, and that he's at times not very friendly. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I've heard stories. And as far as Kenny goes, that works these, he's like an amazing guy. And apparently somebody has done, by the way, I don't know where it is, a podcast where they interviewed Kenny. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. I'd love to hear that.
Really quick, big shout out to K2GFI. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Appreciate everybody watching on Facebook. But we see your chat, so it's okay if you type them in the chat. We hear you. Sorry, Don. Go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, thanks, Jody, because Jody's dropped an amplifier a tuner that I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of what I'm wondering. I just figured there's a bunch of us in here. Somebody's going to know something that I don't know. And by the way, the Flex tuner and the Mercury tuner are supposed to be real good as well. I just haven't had any experience with them, so I'm just kind of looking around. So hopefully, I can keep my hands off the credit cards for a few months and avoid buying the tuner, because I, just like you, I don't need it. To me, it's an emergency thing. Well, and the one thing I would like to try is I'd love to try to see if I can force the 10 meter Moxon to go to 20 meters with a tuner, just for the hell of it. But it is what it is. It works great on 10 meters, but
okay.
And I can run. In fact, the 10 meter and the 6 meter, I can run a full kilowatt through them with no problem. And by the way, if you're building a Moxon, let me give you a hint.
Mm-hmm.
Get aluminum tubing. Do not use wires. Now, somebody told me that one time, and I didn't believe it. But the tubes, using those tubes, makes the thing so much more wide banded than if I would, and especially on 10 and 6.
That's like a skin effect thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I get a very large portion from about 28.0 all the way up to middle of 29 on it. And I doubt seriously a wire one would go anywhere close to that.
And that's true of just about all antennas too. I mean,
but
tubing is going to have a much broader band than a wire.
Yeah, the thing is, though, look at the band, though. On 60 meters, you just flat don't need it. And 30 either. And even 17, because they're such short bands. Well, 12 is kind of like that, too. So
160 and 80 and...
yeah, 80's ridiculous. The only way to do 80, a full band on 80, is with a cage dipole. So...
I mean, I'll tell you. Well, of course, I can't go up to the extra portion, but I mean, I can tune up on either end of 80 with the DX10. Of course, yeah, it's not resonant per se. But there's a fella here in Knoxville that was talking about the cage dipole. And he's a big proponent. What do they call him, an elephant cage or something? I don't know, something like that.
I don't know that.
Three wires or something like that around the center and all tied together. And
most of them are about six wires around a central point. And W1AW, that's how they do 80 meters. They have a full wavelength antenna on 80 meters by using one of a cage dipole.
Well, let me jump in. Ryan Horn, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Somebody was commenting on the Ford Lightning. Yeah, I bought a Ford Lightning, and then someone else said that the Teslas have high RFI. I don't know, because I would never give Elon Musk a 1 red cent of my money. But yeah,
we had that conversation a few weeks ago. Didn't we?
I would never give that man any money. Never, and that has nothing to do with Twitter or anything else. It's specifically him and what he said he's done. And I'm not going to say it. We're not going to get a Tesla rant again. You can go watch one of my old AFTERCHATs on that.
Real quick though, Josh.
Real quick. Here we go. Real quick.
Oh, come on, you love Elon Musk.
Have you seen Glass Onion yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh, watch it and tell me if you think that. And I'm not a Rian Johnson fan, but he did okay with those movies. I have a beef with him because of Star Wars.
What is Glass Onion?
So Glass Onion is the Netflix made him put that it's like another movie based around what's the guy who used to play James Bond? Plays like a Southern detective guy. And at any rate, you have to go watch it.
Knives Out? Is that the Knives Out?
Knives Out. Yeah. And I guess he was thrown a
James
fit. They made him put
Daniel
Knives
Craig.
Out in
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. That's it.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch it and tell me if who you think the main character that's like, I don't know what you want to call him. He's not really the antagonist. He's just whatever. I guess he is kind of the antagonist in there.
I liked Knives Out. I thought that was a fun,
Yeah, this is a little more fanciful. It's kind of high tech, blah blah blah.
Okay.
A guy owns an island and he invites his friends, and there's the whole story in it. But watch it and tell me if you think that the character that owns the island, if he's not going after Musk a little bit on that.
Okay, all right. I will. I'm even more interested to watch it because my wife was asking me about that yesterday, but instead I put on What We Do in the Dark.
I enjoyed it. Let's put it that way. And you know how I lean, so it was interesting.
Okay, we won't spoil it. But nobody spoiled.
Have you seen the new Witcher movie?
I haven't. It's a movie, right? I got to go watch it.
It's a series. It's a mini.
Oh, the series. No,
it's like
I have
4 episodes or something like that.
With Thor's brother. Is Thor's brother
and Michelle Yeoh?
Oh, Michelle Yeoh's in it. Oh.
Yes, yeah. She was badass in it too.
Did you like it? Did he do a good job?
Oh, I loved it.
As the new Witcher, is he as good as?
No, this is like a prequel. It's like
it has
4, but
it explains where the Witchers come from and where.
But it's not canon.
But is it Cavill?
It does not follow the book.
No, there's no Witcher in it.
Oh, okay.
No, just watch it. It's in the world of The Witcher, but it is not. It doesn't involve Witchers per se, but it kind of hints that this is what happened that caused this world to be the way it is, and it's very good.
All right.
But if you've read the books, apparently people that are diehard Witcher fans hate it. Yeah. So if you haven't read the books, you can probably enjoy it.
Let's come up for air. Let's come up for air.
Does that make sense?
No, we're in the nerd, even nerdier weeds. Let's
get back to radio.
Is there anybody in there that has a ham radio question? It can be text on YouTube or Discord or in the voice chat here on Discord if they want to ask a question. Go ahead, come now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we do. Go ahead.
Sorry, it took me a while to get my push to talk to start working. So I just passed my technician exam today.
Hey,
I'm already wanting to jump into general and start on HF.
Mm-hmm.
And I want like a kit that I can do like 24 hours in the field in. So I was looking at like the TH9800. But where I'm getting stuck is like, is there a battery that will like keep that going for 24 hours?
The TH9800, mate. That's my main radio. Let me tell you. To describe the quality of it, I can't say the words I would have to use.
A big geek.
A big geek. Are those available, Mike? Is K8MRD still around?
He's stepped away, but he's currently in the process of building them, so none available right now.
All right, so let's help with the logistics of all of this. Instead of pointing you at a radio, let's explain what the process is for determining how much battery or power solutions you need. So radios have a receive draw current and a transmit draw current. And you need to make sure that whichever battery you spec out is going to be able to compensate for your time when you're listening and the time when you're transmitting. There are calculators that you can look up online, or like a ham radio battery calculator. Just Google that and you'll find one of them. And you basically tell the calculator what the radio you're looking at's draw frequency is on receive and transmit, and how much time you're going to spend transmitting versus receiving. Aim a little high on that one. I'd argue if you put 50% transmit versus receive, you're probably covering all the bases. Then that is the way to do it. That'll tell you like, and then you put in like how many hours you want to operate, etc. And then you can spec out a battery that will be large enough to compensate what you want to do Or in what I
No.
recommend is you get yourself a battery that's maybe a little bit
There's no
smaller.
big on this one.
You got a hot mic, Douglas. You spec out yourself a battery that is the right, a little bit smaller, and then you consider like adding solar or the capability to interface with other things that would put power back into the battery. And solar is also something that size of panels, how portable they are, etc., are all something you should consider.
And extra batteries never hurt.
Yeah, a couple batteries is fine. In fact, I've done that multiple times where I'll actually bring out like 2 9-amp-hour batteries, and I will have one on the solar panel charging, and then I'll have another one that I'm actively using, and I'll just switch them out, and that works just fine. And then you can actually avoid having a charge controller, or you can go down the charge controller route, and then you can keep the battery topped off. There's many different options. It's just kind of like, let's put it this way. You learn a lot from doing, and so maybe just start out with a battery that may not get you through an entire weekend, but it will get you a lot of hours of use, and then say, okay, well, now I'm going to consider a charge controller and a solar panel, and go that route. And then because even at a lithium ion or lithium polymer battery, those batteries start getting real big, and they're still kind of heavy, and they get really expensive for the really large capacity lithium polymer batteries. So keep that in mind.
Thank you. Yeah, I crossed out the TH9800.
Yeah,
So
why did you land on that? I wanted to go back to that. Why did you land on that radio as the one that you're considering?
I think I just Googled like best HF radios, mobile radios.
Yeah. So oh boy, that's a whole rabbit hole, because unfortunately, all band mobile radios don't really exist anymore. We're generally going down the rabbit hole of having a decent VHF UHF radio and then a decent HF radio. If you're stuck on a mobile sized radio for HF, consider the Yaesu 891. That's probably one of the better ones that's available, at least for portable operation or in your car. And of course, the ICOM 710, 7100 as well. That is all band, all mode, but it's a little bit. You're gonna have to have a body buried somewhere in the vehicle and all that other fun stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'm not too like set on a radio yet. I would definitely look more at. You had a good point with the transmit and receive draw, because I can shop by radio. I might bump down to like 50 watt instead of 100 watt, and that might buy me more life.
Where are you at regionally?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, so you might want to take a trip down to Huntsville and go to Gigaparts.
Oh, there you go.
And actually put your hands on the radios.
Great recommendation, Jeff.
And if you can wait until August, go to the Hamfest there.
No, don't wait till August.
But
go down
well, you know, but yeah, I mean, you're in Nashville. You're what, like an hour and a half? Because I'm in Knoxville, so I know I can be in Huntsville in 3 hours flat. So I know you can be there sooner. You may want to go and go look at the stuff. Because, you know, there's things that you don't think about until you actually touch them. Ergonomics is one of them.
100%. I'm always arguing on behalf of they call it stick time. If you're into airplanes or whatever, there's no replacement for experience on the radio. You cannot replicate that by watching my reviews or anyone's reviews, any of the YouTubers that are here right now. We try to do the best we can to demonstrate how the radios function, but until you actually lay hands on that thing, you're not going to know how it really works until you do so. And that's really the most important thing from my point of view, is what radio is good for you, personally for you.
One thing I'd like to add to that is just kind of based on my own experience. When I went to go buy my first HF radio, I went to the HRO in Milwaukee, which is pretty big. Mm-hmm. And even though I had been a technician for a while, I had absolutely no clue how to operate any of these HF rigs. And some of the guys there were, I'm sure I kind of went at a busy time and they probably would have been more apt to like help me out, but I had no clue what I was doing. So if you could find like a ham radio club and, you know, get with somebody that, you know, can kind of show you the ropes on the HF rigs, it's kind of it might help you out, before you even go look at all the other radios you could buy.
Yeah, you can't. Elmers are always a great, and you should any club. There should always be people more than willing to say, "Oh yeah, come on over, take a look. You want to play with this radio? I've got a 7300, or I got a DX10, or I got a 818, or whatever." Somebody does POTA, depending on what you're looking to do. So
I got a Flex radio. Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, Don, good signal, by the way. +7. Way to go.
Yeah, I know. And that's on the Flex at about 40 watts.
Wow, that's really good. Well, I'm more interested in what your antenna is. Is that the
I'm running an MFJ in-fed halfway.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
That radio is over at my sister's house, 60 miles away from where I'm operating right now.
Oh, that's smoking, man. I mean, yeah, the Flex plays an important key role, but the antenna is like the most important thing. And the fact that MFJ is singing at 40 watts +7 to me, that's really good.
Yeah, yeah. And it's that $109 in-fed halfway thing. If I could find it, I think, on their website. But yeah, I picked it up at Main Trading Company when I was out there one time, and
so
it's
just to put some perspective into this, I'm kind of flying over Don's head a little bit when I look at my signals. So if you dive in here a little bit, I'm not hitting much of Texas. Well, I am a little bit, but I'm mainly going more north. So most of the stations are up here that are hearing me. And so the fact that he's coming in that good from down here in the south a little bit, that's really good. So to get back to the radio thing for a second, for people starting out, of course, I'm not telling you don't watch YouTube videos because, I appreciate you watching my videos. But you can kind of narrow down the field somewhat to a couple of radios after watching a lot of videos. So this is what I would do. Go to all the major manufacturers' websites. Look at the radios on their website, like what they advertise for HF, for instance. And then go watch a lot of videos on those radios. And then what'll happen is you'll start to cull the herd a little bit. And you'll probably end up with 3 or 4 radios that are on the list that you might want to own. And then I would say go to the stores like HRO, wherever you can, Gigaparts, DX Engineering, what have you, and or an Elmer or a Ham Club or whatever. Get some trigger time behind the radio, experience what it's like to operate it, and I'm telling you, that will probably narrow the field down to one very quickly for you. In almost all instances I've experienced where I'm like, I don't really know if blah, blah, blah about this radio. And then I go put hands on it and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that is not for me. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Or I'm like, oh no, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And that's really what is the delineating factor for a lot of stuff from my point of view.
Yeah, will do. I'll start with that 891 and 7100.
Yeah, right on. That would be the mobile. I mean, you could look at a Xiegu G90, an XIEGU is how it's spelled, G90, and that's cheaper than all the ones we mentioned before, but it is a little bit more of a quirky radio.
Sounds good. Yeah, this all started with a $20 Bowfang, and I don't know what I got myself into.
Oh yeah, no, that's Baofeng's the gateway drug for sure. That's how I consider it.
I've been in this for 30 years. I still don't know quite what I got into.
You've gotten into a lot, Don.
I have, but I'm still learning, man.
Winter Field Day is coming up too. It might be a good place to check out some people's radios and try them out.
When is Winter Field Day?
3rd weekend in January.
Is it? Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that is so soon. That's we're gonna close our eyes and it's already gonna be there.
They got new management and everything going on with them.
Yeah, where's Jason? Jason is the he is the media guy for the Winter Field Day.
Because now the guys for Winter Field Day are actually here in Tennessee.
Oh,
I think they're in Middle Tennessee. I think
this is not like Zoom, so I can't raise my hand. But do anyone know anything about marine radios? Because I got a couple of those, and I've been thinking about modifying them so I can finally get on 10 meters.
I don't know a whole lot about marine radios, but I'm. What frequencies do they operate on? How close are they to 10 meters?
I'll post it in general. 1 sec.
Okay.
Yeah, because
post it in the live stream chat. Live stream #livestream.
Alrighty, 1 minute.
because
they have VHF radios too, and I'm guessing
they have HF. No, Marine has HF for sure. But my question is like, what is the radio?
I'm a part of a club over in Oshawa, in Ontario. I'm from Newfoundland, Labrador, but there was one guy telling me that I can clip a couple diodes, and he never ever sent me the link afterwards. So I just posted that in the live stream chat. The exact radio guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently, I can clip a couple diodes, and I should be able to get on 10 meters. I got a good antenna for it. I don't have any other radios to get on. This is my only hope.
The short answer is yes. You probably can just clip a diode or a capacitor or whatever.
I keep Googling and I can't find anything about it.
So do this. Google TKM-707 Mars mod and see if you can find it that way. Mars, like the planet, mod.
Oh, I think I did.
There you go. So yes, we can help you, but we can't clip the wires for you. You still have to do that yourself.
And I don't know what Canadian law is on that. In the U.S., you're allowed to because we're covered by our rules, but I don't know about Canadian law.
I built this radio myself. It was never Kenwood.
Okay, that's it. and then if you run into trouble, you can just say you lost it in a boating accident.
Yeah, that's
along with everything else, right?
Went for a swim and didn't come back.
So there was a question, is there anything of interest happening or Winter Field Day here in the Los Angeles area? So Winter Field Day, let me touch on this briefly. Winter Field Day is not like Summer Field Day or June ARRL Field Day. It's more of a lone wolf field day from my point of view. That's me talking personally. I know there's clubs that get together and they do fun stuff. The good thing about LA is that if you wanted to, you could operate from the beach in the morning and then go up to the snow in the evening and operate if you want to do that. You know, you could make your own challenges in Winter Field Day. And in fact, I find that to be the most rewarding, is that Winter Field Day is something that is truly focused on emergency communication. And so challenge yourself to do like all the things is a really good way to go about this. Challenge yourself to make a JS8 call contact or set a number 5, and then make a couple emails on WinLink peer-to-peer or just over the node. That's fine. Do an APRS message. Make a contact that way if you can. Do 2-meter simplex. Do HF. Explore all the spaces and challenge yourself in your capabilities in radio with Winter Field Day. That's what I highly recommend. Or do what I've done. We rented a place right on the beach in San Diego, and I operated on the beach. That was a great Winter Field Day.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on in California. I just posted it in the chat. People that have already said where they're going to be.
There you go. Oh, man. Those are a couple of people in my backyard. Oh, there's one guy right by the beach. Holy smokes. That's, yeah.
Is that you?
Is that me? Right by the beach. That's me.
It's very popular in the South because it's
no mosquitoes.
It's much more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
in the winter.
Oh, for sure.
But there's people up north that do it, and they're well, of course, now with these heated tents and stuff, I was watching videos on that going, oh my God, people camping in the snow and it's 100 degrees in the tent.
Yeah, VE3FAL does it. I mean, they go out and dig a hole, they scoop out a bunch of snow and build up a one of those snow things up there in Canada, and then stay in that and operate radio all day.
Now remember, if you can't do that, you can still get on and operate it. Don't think you can't. Just like with regular field day, if you can't make it out to a field day, in the summer, with the group, or you don't have a buddy that nobody wants to go out, and you don't want to really go camping out in the middle of the woods by yourself, you can still get on the air, do what you can do,
right,
and try and test yourself.
Right, work within your limits.
Yeah, the truth is, like on our club, we don't care if you're a club member or not. If you come out and you want to operate a radio, we're going to put you down in front of a radio and let you operate.
Oh yeah, there's extra points for that. And
I love the idea of, this is a little bit more centric to southern states, I can still get to the cold. In fact, I might go up to my dad's with his arm broken. There's a high likelihood that I'll be hanging out with my dad. He's in Big Bear. He's here with me right now, but ultimately, when we get him back up to his place in Big Bear, there's a high likelihood that I may just throw on a backpack, hike out back behind his house, and bundle up as much as I can, set up a QRP station, and just make as many contacts as I can before I get too damn cold. And there is value in doing that, like getting out there in the environment and just experiencing what it is, because you learn a lot by doing. That's what these type of events do, is they challenge you to explore what your station is capable of and what you personally, can do.
Did somebody say battery box?
Yeah, we were talking earlier about I don't know, is he still here? I think he is. The question was, if you want to, he's trying to spec out an HF station that he can run with, say, all weekend or whatever. And I was not just trying to point him to a single battery solution by a single brand, but say you need to familiarize yourself with calculating your actual transmit and receive needs. That's the most important
Absolutely.
thing. And then you build off of that.
Yeah.
With that said,
you can throw a solar panel on it and you'll be good all day, all weekend, as long as you have sun.
With that said, Mike, how are we doing on the Big Geek manufacturing process?
I just got all of the parts for the next batch in the mail Thursday morning. I got the last part, so I'll probably get to work on those. Shoot, maybe even this week. We'll see. I've got 5 more to build. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, the last batch sold out in like 2 days. So that was awesome.
Any new decisions on the Little Geek?
So I had one guy post in the comments of my video that he wanted to buy a Little Geek, regardless of the RFI that the solar charge controller puts out. So I told him to email me, and he's like, my Apple phone won't let me email to iCloud.
What?
It's like, it's an email. So I was like, I'm not going to pursue him too much, because if he can't figure out how to email me, imagine the tech support.
Yep.
Sounds like a slight ID 10T.
Say what?
Thank God I don't have to support Apple stuff.
Sounds
Well,
like a slight ID
battery
10T issue.
I have no idea. I mean, literally everyone in the world, literally around the world, people email me, k8mrd@icloud.com. And he can't do it from his iPhone, so I don't know. But I'm working on. There's a guy up in Michigan, I think he is. He's working on some like a cover to put on the charge controller to hopefully act as a Faraday cage. Because there's really not a lot of room in there to fit any other charge controller. Like I could kind of probably put a Genasun in there, but then that's going to up the cost significantly.
Yeah.
The charge controller that I'm using in there now, it's like an $18 or $20 charge controller.
Right.
Genasun is, for a 5 amp, is probably $80 or $100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the charge controller that's in Big Geek is like $50, but it's a lot bigger. But it fits no problem. So
I see. Oh, okay. I got. Yeah, it's the size is the issue, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, because it's such a small ammo box that Little Geek is, and there's a 12 amp hour Bioenno in there. Plus, you have the the switches. You've got the USB outlet. That's just the USB plug is probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep.
Right.
So there's not a lot of room. So.
Genasun Palomar has anything you could put on the wires.
Again, it's a size thing. So if I start putting a bunch of ferrites in there and wrapping wire around it, like there's just, I don't know. And someone's posting about PowerWorks solar charge controllers. I've not heard good things about them.
You don't want to put ferrets in a ammo can. They don't like that.
I want something that just works.
Genasun makes a charge controller that's just a bare board.
That's
just
right.
a full circuit board. Yeah,
they do.
And I know Genasun's pricey, but I have a Genasun 10 amp, not the board, but the box. But it's totally clean. It has like
I've reviewed them. They're fantastic. Somebody's posted in the chat they're RF noisy. They're definitely not. Not at all. Jenison is fantastic.
No, Jenison's it's one of the better ham radio charge controllers you can get. Really quick, we got a comment on the YouTube from Blue Sky. I bought a handheld radio, but I can't connect to people. Does my antenna suck? So Blue Sky, you've given us a taste of the real story, but there's more information. In part, we kind of need to know where you're at, like locally, like give us the city you're in at least, because the reality is that handheld radios are generally line of sight, meaning you can only really hear and talk to people that are like within the line of sight that you can generally see to the horizon, kind of thing. And we don't know what your radio is, nor do we know what your antenna is. But if the short answer is you just have a stock antenna on your HT, it's probably likely that that's bottlenecking you a bit. There are better options. Oh, he said he's in Ventura. Yeah, you okay? So you should probably program some repeaters and see if you can hit the repeaters. And obviously, please, if you don't, I didn't ask you, but ham radio license is going to be required here. Use your call sign because it's very likely that there are many repeaters around you. Go to places like repeaterbook.com. Look up local repeaters to you. Something within like 30 miles should be no problem for an HT. If you have a question about if you're getting out, go outside and see if you can do it. The other thing you can probably listen to is 146.520, the national simplex calling frequency. And that would be a good indicator, just listen to that a lot and see if you can hear people. Going outside, though, with an HT is going to help you a lot because that's going to be your home. It can absorb a lot of the RF that you're transmitting. So keep that in mind as well. I think he might have said what radio he had. Wouxun stock antenna. So yeah, Wouxun antennas are, they're much like all the other stock antennas. They're okay. They're not great. If you want a better antenna, go look at Signal Stuff Signal Stick, and there's a link in the description for this video on where you can find those.
Or the 42-inch Abri.
There's also the question: is it programmed right? Like, do you have the CTCS tones and all that stuff done correctly? So.
Yep. So there's plenty of comments that are coming at you, Blue Sky. Hopefully that helps. So the 42-inch Abri is definitely a performer, but it could also just snap the friggin' SMA right off the side of your radio. So I still like the signal sticks for that. Or if you want something that is absolutely just a killer HT antenna, best performing HT antennas is the MFJ Long Ranger or the Smiley 1/2 wavelength telescopic antenna. Freaking fantastic. I would leave your Wouxun rubber duck antennas, they call it, the stock antenna, on the radio until you get to like a destination, like if you're hiking or whatever. Then you put that half wave on there and extend the telescopic whip, and then you'll do much better with that antenna. Much better.
Yeah, don't forget about the roll-up J-pole too. Works great.
I have compared many J-pole antennas, and still the Edfong is number one. It still is the best from my testing, my simple man testing. But those half-wave antennas, now keep in mind a J-pole is, I believe, a quarter-wave antenna. I think that's how it all works out with the math. The counterpoise is basically that snipped lead that goes vertical. The half-waves are still the best antenna. They outperform the J-poles. Now, the downside of the half-waves is they're usually mono-banded. So if you get a 2-meter half-wave, it's a 2-meter antenna, and that's it. The J-poles at least have the advantage of being dual-band.
Did you compare the N9TAX to the Edfong? I can't remember.
Yes, Edfong beat it, and it's way more portable. Yeah, the Edfong is more portable too.
I love my N9TAX. It's probably the best roll-up J-pole I've ever bought.
Quality wise, the N9TAX is really good, and most of the J-poles performed very, very well. So I'm not taking anything away, but if you're just going like from the number one down, the Edfong is still the best.
They seemed very similar in design, though, to me. Like, I mean, of course, all J-poles are kind of J-poles. Yeah. Did you, by any chance, ever look at like any of the non-roll-up J-poles and compare?
Like what? I've tested so many antennas, and I continue.
Like one of the Arrow J-poles, the dual bander.
Arrow? No, I haven't tested Arrow. I do have another one that that actually Carlos sent me that I need to go out and test. So Carlos, if you end up watching this, I know I got to go test the antenna. We need to have a reshoot out of multiple J poles, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a difference between a roll-up J pole and a regular, one made out of aluminum. So.
Yeah. Look at a KB9 VBR.
Mm-hmm. I haven't tested his either.
Per Wikipedia, a J pole is an omnidirectional half-wave antenna that is matched to the feed line by a shorted quarter-wave parallel transmission line stub.
I stand corrected. So it is a half-wave. Well, I don't know, man. Those half-wave verticals on the radio, the two, the MFJ and the Smiley, they both outperform the J poles, but they're mono-banded, so I don't know.
Did you see my little message there?
Which one? Who is that talking?
I posted a photo on live stream, and so basically, long story short, there's only about 14 radio operators here, and the guy that installed a repeater is now deceased, and it's long past now. But anyways, our repeater is hooked up to this thing. If you look at that photo, what do you think it is?
It's a cavity. So that's those are called cavities. That's basically the device that allows you to have such a close transmit and receive frequency.
So it's like filtering basically, but
yep.
It's a bandpass filter, but it's so narrow that it's for a specific frequency. So they are tuned for the receive frequency to allow it to pass, and for the transmit frequency to allow it to pass.
Many comments in the chat are also adding that cavities are duplexers, which is also the right term. Duplex is probably the better term.
I'm going to write all this down, and I really thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
But they are very frequency specific, and it's an art to get them tuned up for the. So usually when you order one, you know what frequency pair you're using for a particular repeater, and you order it to spec.
And just that FYI, those bolts, those double topped up bolts, those are the tuning rods for that thing. So that's why they have the lock bolt on top, is that you're not supposed to mess with that. Once it's in space, you rarely have to mess with those.
Yeah, if you want to be a super technician, become a repeater god.
Nah. You're right. Super technician. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And go broke.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I mean, you're not going to be the guys that operate those for the clubs. They're like wizards.
Yeah.
That's what the guy was, and I'm sure that one's in tune. Our trouble now, the power went down, and we're pretty sure there was a spike in power or something, and we think our coax is bad, but we're not sure what's wrong with the repeater. We can't get it to come back online, and we don't think it's that filter. We're pretty sure it's the repeater itself.
I would argue, so I would want to touch that the last in the chain of things that I would want to replace.
Because the guy is now deceased, and he was literally a god. The way they talk about him, he was a wizard.
I could see that costing more than the repeater itself.
That is a very nice duplexer / cavity.
Yeah, that's not a trifle piece of hardware.
They're also physical devices that they don't really go bad on you. They're not really going to have a problem unless they're exposed to the elements, basically. So the things to look at are obviously the repeater itself as being a possible problem, because again, coax is fairly finite. It either works or doesn't work. So I would look at the repeater to start and see what the issue is, or the antenna, and specifically also the antenna connection. And
make sure you get a professional that knows that's got insurance and all that stuff to climb that tower if you've got to. Make sure you know there's usually a hand
of the monkey.
But this is not the type of thing that you just mess around with, depending on if it's up a tower.
Yeah, so it's not only a cell phone tower; it's a tower for literally everything in town. It's shared, and the big telephone communications center was nice enough to let us use it.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have people climbing that thing.
They're going to require it to be. Require an insured or a approved person.
Yeah, my guess is they won't let anybody touch it or go on it unless they're insured and have all the proper paperwork.
Right.
I know two guys around here that climb towers, and they're both hams, but they climb them for all kinds of stuff. And they've got all the safety gear. They know what to do. They've got insurance. I forget how, it's like $1 million or $1.5 million each, something like that. It's crazy. So, but that's
climbing
that's
towers is a blast.
Well, if it's your tower, that's a difference between you owning something and having something that's owned by a commercial.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, it's a little bit different than the rest of the world. It kind of is like the last wild west, more or less. But I know what you guys are saying, and we do take our due diligence.
Well, let's make it easy for you. So you probably can't just go hop on the tower and be climbing and monkeying around with that. I think we all probably on the same page there.
We think it's the coax, so that was our next thing to test. And there's only been 3 of us active here. The other guy, Mike, he bought an antenna analyzer.
Oh, good. That was going to be the next step.
He wasn't smart enough to check to see if it was good for VHF.
Which antenna analyzer did you buy?
It's only for HF. Here, let me look at the numbers 1 second.
Well, okay, so here's where I'm going with this. So what you can do is this probably is at the point where you start needing to take things apart a little bit to check connectors and all that stuff. So if you take the coax off, like let's say we're going, excuse me, we're going from the duplexer to the antenna, right? So disconnect that and connect the analyzer to it. And some of the better analyzers, like the Rig Expert stick, which I have here, I can show you on the overhead. Maybe. There it is. That's the Rig Expert stick. Next to my hugest flex of all time. Look at that flex that I'm showing everybody. Everybody who knows what they're seeing right there is losing their mind right now. The Rig Expert stick will allow you to measure the length of coax and find, it will do a velocity check too. And the velocity check will tell you if you have any problems with the coax. So you should definitely do that. Is the repeater functioning? Like when you turn it on and use it, is it still showing kind of the things you'd expect it to show?
You can see stuff on the little screen on it. It comes up normal, but if you try to use it by transmitting, we can't hit it.
Have you put is there a power meter on the repeater that it's actually putting out any power?
No.
So
I really wish I had. I really wish I had the meter serial number and all that to show you the actual model. But the analyzer we have is a AA35 Zoom.
Oh yeah, that's HF only.
Yeah, that's literally. Yeah. He wasn't sure. He didn't know what he was ordering. He thought he was doing a good job, and then I was like, "Damn,
yeah,
well,
not gonna work."
You could try to hook up a dummy load to the cans at the backside of the cans with everything else hooked up inside, because where you're at below the tower, if you're in like a utility building, you may not be able to get out and actually hit the antenna anyways. So if you put a little dummy load in the room and you got a little HT, and if you can key it up into a dummy load, it'll transmit, into a dummy load if it's working. If it's not working and receiving, or you may be looking at getting a new thing, but you've got to do it step by step.
Hey, I'm a truck driver, and I don't want to flaunt it, but I really have been thinking about getting them a new repeater. And what would you suggest?
Oh God, I don't know. That's
and not crazy. Don't go too crazy.
Yaesu usually has a deal in North America
with
for
ham
repeaters.
Clubs. Yeah.
For clubs.
And we're a small club too. They probably look at that.
Clubs.
No, but the price, in the U.S., I think because commercial repeaters could be looking at a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
But they usually discount them massively for clubs. I think at one point they were doing $800, and then they went up a little bit to $1,200 or something. Which $1,200
clubs, individuals can do it too. That's the way I got mine.
So let's go back up a step here. So since you mentioned being a truck driver, this should be just testing anything wrong with your truck, right? You got spark, air, fuel, right? It's the same kind of thing with radio. So I'm with Liberty Cave 100%
we got power.
In the comments. You got to break it down into components and then test each component. So what I think you should do is you could probably leave the antenna connected to the repeater, but hook up a power meter to that repeater and see if it's getting power out. And then also with that power meter, check what the SWR is and see where you're at. If you're still all within spec, then okay, no big deal. If you are showing really high SWR, then it could be the coax, and you got to test the coax. And it could be an antenna, but I would test all the things before having to climb the tower first. And there was another comment that was actually a really good one that we got on the YouTube chat. Thanks for that. I'll see if I can find it. But they mentioned connecting another radio to that coax that's connected to your antenna and transmitting on that radio and see if you're actually able to hear on someone else, like locally, either like standing outside the Radio Shack. Test it locally first, but then also see how far out you're getting. If there's somebody that can normally hit the repeater and if they can hear you, well, that's probably a pretty good sign that your RF connection chain from the dipole or whatever antenna you have for the repeater all the way back to the coax is probably good. So then you can rule that out, right? It's just like you'd work on your truck, right? You got to test where the component breakdown is.
Got it. I really thank you guys for the help too, because like we've been at a stump. So me and Mike, we went up there 2 or 3 times. We went up there playing around. We reset it, we turned it on, started over, and no matter what we do, we can't hit it. And we weren't using our handhelds. I brought my mobile up in my pickup truck, and now it's winter time and the road's not plowed, so we're actually not getting up there till spring unless we go on Skidoo. But I really thank you guys, and I wrote all this down. I wish I recorded it for Mike. He would have liked that.
It's on YouTube, so you can go watch the after chat on my
Oh,
channel.
no way!
Yeah, this is live.
I'm not even watching the video. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go look.
Oh yeah, don't apologize, man. It's all there.
No,
so...
I watch the videos all the time. You don't even know though.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Do you remember my name, Josh?
I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. We've talked a few times now, though.
I apologize. What is your name?
No, it's okay. VO2NC, Victor Oscar 2, November Charlie.
No, but you said, do I remember your name? I don't know your name.
Nathan Crane.
Nathan Crane.
Whipbone. I go by Whipbone, though.
Yeah.
Whipbone.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for.
I love it. I love the work you do.
You can watch this. You can go watch the YouTube, and then you can link to just the timestamp to hopefully help you. So
yeah, it's live right now. If you went on YouTube, you could find it. It's running live.
Yep.
We're hopping over there now. Thank you.
Well, but after the fact, you can link him just to the portion of this talk. So
true.
I'm hopping over there now. Thank you.
So somebody said I should add the D74 and the flipper to this shot here. So here's my biggest flex. This is like the hardest flex that you could possibly do. A not available yet rig expert, the banana yellow stick 500, 2 Palm Pico paddles, which are new old stock, the flipper in black, which is the rarest flipper, and the T74. That is pretty dumb. I apologize, everybody. I apologize. I'm sorry. That is a dumb flex. All right. Anybody else in there with a question, ham radio or otherwise? Go for it.
So I just bought an MCOM 3, and the documentation looks like it wants you to like stake the winder to the ground and the opposite end of the antenna to the ground if I'm doing like the inverted V. Is that the optimal way to do that, or should those be elevated as well?
So with the MCOM 3, that board, that plastic winder that has the matching unit attached to it, you could stake that to the ground, but I would still use an insulating cord, right? So that it's still somewhat elevated off the ground. You shouldn't just be laying on the ground, I guess is my point. And then when you go over the top with a wire, like in an inverted V, that end wire connection that has the little carbon fiber loop, that should also have an isolating piece of, an insulated piece of line or something like that, that keeps it from just, never should it touch just directly on the ground. And then the MCOM 3 also has a counterpoise that's attached, and then that just can snake along in the other direction.
And how are you getting it in the air?
Right. A tree.
I mean, I was just going to do a tree.
Yeah, if it's a tree, that's good. The reason I was mentioning that is if you do it on a metal mast, you need to be away from the metal mast.
That is also a level of isolation that you should add to. Yeah. Yep.
But you don't need to do that with a tree per se.
Okay, sweet. Appreciate you.
Okay, so I think there was somebody. There was.
I was just going to ask you.
Go ahead.
Is anybody playing this winter heat? contest deal?
Anyone doing the winter heat? I saw the post for it.
That hamactive.com. It's pretty neat. Just a little simplex deal. I think it's 1 contact per person per day.
I'm planning on doing it.
Yeah, I'm not.
I just thought it was neat because it's got live data. I mean, you log it and you can pull it up on a map and see it on other people's maps, and that was pretty cool.
That sounds like VHF, UHF. Is that what that is, or?
Yes, and some higher stuff too.
Does that include satellite?
Meters it up.
I'm not sure. Here, I'll post a link.
All right. Well, I've got to hop out here, I think, to go join the party that's at my house. Literally, we threw a surprise party, and I'm hanging out with you guys. That is a true ham. God, people
You're
socializing.
a trooper, man.
We got.
I didn't even get to tell you I bought a label printer.
Which one did you get?
I got the Brother QL800.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll do multiple colors too. It'll do like red and black on white.
On
apparently
thermal? It's a thermal printer?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
And it
apparently.
does wow.
It'll do well. This one, yeah, it came with a set of red and white, the bigger labels, and then which is supposed to be like 100 of them, I guess, the equivalent of 100, and a spool of the regular ones. And then I also bought a regular thing of like 400, a spool of 400. But I think it uses different temperatures. So I was testing with one of them. I printed out a blank and then put my lighter up against it. And it turns red first, and then it turns black. So I think it depends on lower temperature does red, and then higher temperature does black.
You're probably right. Yeah. Interestingly
it's
enough,
cool though.
When I made my Dymo printer video, and I posted one of the last videos that I posted on QRZ because I got so tired of all the trash comments from people. I took a QSL card and I threw a label on it, and I wrote in Sharpie. It was August 15th, 2021, and I even wrote the time in there. The label has not faded at all, but the Sharpie I wrote it in has faded considerably. So,
well,
yeah,
it was $109 at was it Office Depot? So it's on sale, and it was the only one they actually had. A couple of them in stock, and I'm like, I'll take a shot.
I'll do another video. I bought a Bluetooth label maker that has all kinds of different reloads you can put into it, and it connects to my phone. And one of the reloads that it has is a wire wrap label. So it's an extra long, fat piece of label, and then a little tiny, 1/3 the size tag end, and you fold the tag end over, and then you fold the end over. And I've used that on different coaxes, different pieces of wire. I've tagged all my kids' stuff with it. Wonderful little label maker, and it's all Bluetooth to your phone. That's been really cool. I've used that. My wife's been bugging me to make labels with it. Way easier to use that than like a Brother handheld printer. So much easier. Brother. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to play with this. Maybe I'll fill out a QSL for you for the contact we made tonight on it.
Send it over. I do respond to QSLs. I
know.
Everybody that has sent me QSL cards, I keep them all. I will work them. I promise. It's been way too long since I've been able to sit down and do it, but maybe
But you inspired me, man. You inspired me, so I went ahead. I'm like, I'll go ahead and get one.
They're cool.
I got tired of filling out QSL cards, and
you need to hire Tim.
Tim?
Yeah, for Josh. I mean,
I might have to. I might have to hire a QSL person.
Yeah.
QSL manager.
Yeah, Tim's like the premier QSL manager. He's a friend of Callum's, but man, he does all the big D expeditions.
I might have to because I get a decent amount, and it gets
to be a chore in and of itself.
Yeah.
No, I like doing it. It's just the time it takes to do it, even though I've made it pretty efficient in the process to do it. I'm at the point now where it's like I probably should pass this on to somebody maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
So, good question on how you QSL me. Well, QSL me if you're in the States, just do it via post is fine. USPS is fine. My PO box QRZ has it attached to my license. No SAAC, but you'll get back my QSL card as a postcard versus in an envelope. If you send an SAAC, then I will put my QSL card in the envelope. Otherwise, you just get back the postcard. You not necessarily get the QSL card in an envelope. That's why I get the postcard.
I knew that, but I was clarifying for everybody else. So.
My QSL cards, Amanda makes my QSL cards from Ham Nation. They are very high quality, and they do very well in post, unless they're completely obliterated by a machine, which happens. But they've got the UV coating on there, so they're good. They stand up well.
I was going to say Amanda might know a QSL manager.
Oh,
there's
a
lot of
talk
people.
to her. Yeah. All right, I gotta go join the party and
go have fun. Happy New Year, Josh.
Go be a in-person
Happy New
ham.
Year, Josh, and remember your homework that we gave you already.
What's my homework, Don?
The Witcher and what are those two things that Jeff
The
told
Witcher
you?
and the
Glass
Knives
Onion.
Out. Black Onion.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Leia already
Tell me
wants
what
to
you
watch
think. I want to hear. I want to get. I want a book report on. Well, a video, whatever you call it, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I will.
Conversation.
I've got to do this before. Oh gosh, we're gonna look it up live. I don't remember Amanda's call sign. It's AD something.
K1DDN.
K1. Geez, I was way off. K1DDN, and you go QSL printing.
Yeah, I don't.
Peakprintingonline.com.
So
when someday we're going to have to go over how you do that with her, because I've looked at.
You email.
I want to get some.
You just email her.
And then what? But anyway, we can talk about it another time.
We can. But I I also have a relationship with her. We're friends. So Amanda from Ham Nation has a printing service. Her family runs this company. And I challenge you to find cheaper QSL cards than Amanda that are as the same quality. They are very nice QSL cards. Extremely nice. And
I can vouch for that. I got one in my hand, and it's it's postcard thickness.
Yep.
Not like my cheap QSLs that are kind of more flimsy. This is a nice thick. It doesn't bend. It's got some flex to it. So and it's a beautiful.
Mine are just black and white, and I really want to get some colored ones with pictures and everything. But that's the design part is the part I don't get.
She does the design too. She did the design for me. Like I worked out some options with her. She made a couple of mock-ups. I literally emailed her and I said, Amanda, I'm looking at I want to do like 1,000 card order. I'm going to use this picture. I want my call sign on there and my YouTube logo, and I just sent her all the stuff, and she mocked it up. She did a fantastic job. She'll do that.
Is there a format she prefers? Maybe like a layered image format or something like that?
I sent her, I think PNGs were what I sent her, and then I had the Photoshop files for the logo, so I did send her that stuff. And she sent me back stuff. She's like, can you make a picture a little bit different, or can you send me some other options? And she did a great job. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Take a look at that thing that I dropped in chat like way early on and see if you think that would be a good picture to use.
How early?
Well, let's just say it was me. Well, actually, I could probably repost it.
Yeah, just repost it.
It's me in 1991 operating my station.
Oh, that picture. That's the one I asked you how old you were?
Yeah. But I mean, so what? I mean, that I think that might make him a good QSL card.
All right, everybody. I'm going to post the link in the live chat to Ham Radio 2.0's happy hour for the new year. I'll try to hop in. I know that I'm going to go join the party here, but I do appreciate y'all, and I do appreciate Jason and Mike and Frank, Scott, all my YouTube friends, and everybody in the after chats. You guys take your time out to join us out here and spend your time on the Discord. And I know it's not just mine. You're in all the other Discords and you're on all the other videos. the community that we've built, not me, not any particular YouTuber or anything like that, but all of us, is just amazing. And I can't be happier when I just look at, all the great times we have out there and all the interesting things we get to see, since we're all like connected together in this like just amazing network we made. So I appreciate you. Have a great evening.
We appreciate you more.
We love you,
No,
Josh.
I'm just a dude. I just happen to have no problem turning a camera on and being a dumbass. That's the difference. That's all it is.
That's really humble.
No, I mean it when I say like I love ham radio. I love the community around it and all the interesting people that I've got to meet. So appreciate you all. Have a great new year. Do spend time with your family, but also go watch Jason's live stream. So have a great evening. I'm gonna wrap it up, and I will talk to you later. All right.
73, Josh, man. Happy New Year.
73.
73. All right, everybody on the YouTubes and wherever else you're watching, I appreciate you as well. Thanks for all the commenting you've done this year and all the just, I don't know, connecting to me and everybody else here in the chats and the live streams on the videos and all that stuff. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And I'll play you out with the memes. 73. As a reminder, if you're a sad ham on HF and I catch you and I record you, I'll make a song about you, much like this one. So if you've waited to hear this, here it is. Song is still in work. We'll get it wrapped up eventually when I find some more time. Whenever I find the time to do my QSL cards, right? Take it easy, everybody. See